Transpiration is the process where the plant absorbs the water through the roots and then that water is lost in the form of the water vapors from the various parts like the leaves, primarily through the smaller pores which is present on the leaves called as the stomata. This passive process is essential for the cooling of the plant body, transporting the mineral from the root to the leaves for the process like photosynthesis and the driving the movement of water up from the roots against the gravity due to the cohesive and adhesive properties of the water molecules. So transpiration is nothing but the loss of the water, excess water from the aerial part of the plant body in the form of the water vapors is called as the transpiration. Here we can see in the picture water absorbed by the roots, water travel up through the plant, through the stem and it reaches to the leaf. From this leaf, the excess water is removed in the form of the water lost in the form of the water vapors through the smaller openings, that is the stomata, in the form of the water vapors. So that process is known as the transpiration. So in the another picture, you can see the how this experiment can perform by using the bale jar to see how there is a transpiration process. So this transpiration on the basis of the uh, removal of the excess water, that transpiration are of three types. First one is the stomatal transpiration. Stomatal transpiration means when the most of the transpiration which takes place through the stomata, when the loss of the water in the form of the water vapors which is occurred through the stomata, that type of transpiration is known as the stomatal transpiration. यानी जो भी वाटर एक्सेस वाटर प्लांट से बाहर निकल रहा है, लॉस हो रहा है थ्रू दी स्टोमेटा, ऐसे टाइप के ट्रांसपिरेशन को कहेंगे स्टोमेटल ट्रांसपिरेशन. और ये जो स्टोमेटा है, these stomata are usually confined to the more number on the lower side of the leaves. जैसे जो लीफ है उसको डॉर्सल सरफेस और वेंट्रल सरफेस होता है, so the large number of the stomata which is present on the lower side of the leaves. इस पिक्चर में हम देखेंगे, आप देखेंगे, you can see here how there is a presence of the small pores on the leaves, and these small pores, these are the small openings that are called as the stomata. So in another picture, if you can see here, this in the section of the leaf, here you can see on the lower side there is a presence of the smaller opening through which there is a removal of the excess water. Now here, what is this stomata? Stomata is the smaller opening which is present on the epidermal layer. तो epidermis पर smaller pores present रहते हैं, जिसे stomata कहा जाता है. Now this stomata, if we see the structure of the stomata, you can see here, this stomata mainly consists of the two important cells. These cells are called as the guard cell. And these guard cell have a special structure. This looks like the kidney shape. Here, the inner wall of the guard cell, this is thick, and outer wall of the guard cell is thin. So because of this maintain their nature, that is turgid and flaccid. मतलब वो उसमें जब भी लिक्विड आता है तो वो टर्जिड होता है, जब भी लिक्विड उस गार्ड सेल से बाहर जाता है तो फ्लैसिड होता है. सो व्हेन दिस गार्ड सेल बिकम टर्जिड, there is a formation of smaller opening, that the formation of the opening, so we can say the stomata get open, and through which there is a removal of the excess water. When the water is lost from the guard cell and that guard cell become flaccid, then that stomata get closed. So there is not the loss of the water from the stomata. So this loss of the water from the leaves is related with the opening and closing of the stomata. And in this stomata, structure of the stomata, along with the guard cell, on the outer side, there is a presence of the another cell, epidermal cell or subsidiary cell. So here, this is the stomatal transpiration. Most of the transpiration which is takes place through the stomata. Another type of transpiration is the cuticular transpiration. What is cuticle? Cuticle is the outermost covering which is present on the epidermis. In this picture, you can see here, this is the cross section of the leaf. On this, there is a presence of the upper epidermis and lower epidermis, and that upper epidermis is covered with the thick covering that is called as cuticle. On the lower side, there is also the cuticle, and this cuticle is impervious to the water, and even through some water may be lost through the cuticle. And this loss of the water through the cuticle, that type of transpiration is called as cuticle transpiration, cuticular transpiration, and this is near about only the 10% in a particular plant. So this is one of the type of transpiration that is called as the cuticular transpiration. So here this transpiration which is occurred through the cuticle, loss of the water through the cuticle, but this is occurred in only the 10% among the total percent of the transpiration. मतलब जो क्यूटिकल है, जो कवरिंग है एपिडर्मिस के ऊपर, वहां से जो वाटर लॉस होता है, उस प्रोसेस और उस ट्रांसपिरेशन को कहेंगे क्यूटिकुलर ट्रांसपिरेशन, जो कि मैक्सिमम 10% ही होता है एज कंपेयर टू द होल रेट ऑफ द ट्रांसपिरेशन. तीसरे टाइप का जो ट्रांसपिरेशन है जिसको लेंटिकुलर ट्रांसपिरेशन कहा गया है. थर्ड टाइप ऑफ ट्रांसपिरेशन इज द लेंटिकुलर ट्रांसपिरेशन. Some water may be lost by the woody stem through the lenticels, which is called as the lenticular transpiration. जो woody plants है, उस woody plant पर smaller pores present रहते हैं. After the secondary growth, there is a periderm, then there is a formation of the bark, and on this there is a presence of the smaller lens-shaped smaller openings. That opening is nothing but called as the lenticels. Here in this picture, this is the woody structure. You can see here these are the smaller pores. In this diagram, you can see here this is the internal structure where you can see this type of the opening that is called as the lenticel. And through this lenticel or the opening, there is a loss of the water. So that type of transpiration is called as the lenticular transpiration. So here these are the three types of the transpiration that we have seen. In the next video, we will see the mechanism of the stomatal transpiration.